there are things going on in comic books that are definitely worth paying attention to. It's not all good, but it's not all bad. And I always like to bring that up and point that out because I don't like just focusing on everything is negative and everything is bad. And we know things are bad. But anyway, this Spider-Man story I came up on, and I remember the Spider-Man animated series in the 90s. I'd have to go back and watch a bunch of episodes because I don't remember a bunch. My memory is not as good as some. And when I saw this, I thought, man, I like the fact that a lot of these, and I talked about this yesterday with the Star Trek video I did, but a lot of these companies are deciding to address some of these issues, but doing it in a comic book, which I think is actually kind of fantastic because you have a lot more leeway. I went over all of that anyway. Let's get into this story. Spider-Man, the animated series sequel, finally resolves a 20-year-old cliffhanger. And I'll have to watch this again. A lot of these cartoons from that era, like that period, were just so good. I would say from like 92 all the way up until, 97, 98. A lot of the comic book cartoons were actually fantastic. How many people remember the Spawn HBO cartoon? That was a good one. I also remember, what was it? Ion Flux. I think that was was it MTV? I think it was MTV. I can't remember. 27 years ago, Spider-Man the Animated Series cliffhanger ending left fans with a major question. What happened to Mary Jane Watson? To recap, Peter Parker, Christopher Daniel Barnes, married Mary Jane Saratoga Ballantyne, who turned out to be a hydro-powered clone created by Professor Miles Warren, Jonathan Harris. The real MJ had disappeared into an interdimensional portal when Spider-Man's archenemy Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin Neil Ross, knocked her off a bridge in season 3, episode Turning Point. And that's another big thing about cartoons back then. Cliffhangers and things that you just were not expecting to happen, which brings me to X-Men 97. X-Men 97 on Disney Plus was an absolute masterpiece. There's certain times where things are done you do not expect. Like, I expected they were going to put some effort into it, but I fully went in thinking I wasn't going to like it. And I watched it. I waited for all of the episodes to be done. I watched, and then I binged every single episode. I was like, oh, they really did their thing. Kind of like that Top Gun Maverick. I was fully expecting to go into this movie and for this movie to just be mediocre at best. How they managed to make this movie feel like a solid continuation from what happened more than, what was that first Top Gun, the early 80s? Yeah, I can't remember when exactly it was, but it felt like a continuation. That was kind of wild. So, yeah, I don't even know what got me on that point. After saving all of reality, the Spider-Man Carnage and the Multiversal Spider Wars, the 1998 series finale, Farewell Spider-Man, ended with Cosmic Overseer Madam Web, Joanne Lee, offering the wall crawler his reward by transporting him through another dimension where we're going to find the real Mary Jane Watson, she said, acknowledging that Spider-Man was finally entitled to some happiness. Now, typically, I just avoid negative topics, not because I don't know they're there. I'm not naive. But I think this is something that's worthy of mentioning right here just because it's relevant. Marvel's current stance that Spider-Man can't be with Mary Jane is, in my humble opinion, a huge mistake. Now, we get it in the Ultimate Universe, and it baffles me that there's not an understanding that this is one of the reasons why Ultimate Spider-Man is doing so well. It's because we love seeing Spider-Man grow up, seeing him and Mary Jane with a family and kids and all the drama that ensues. I mean, we really do like it. People really do want to see Spider-Man and Mary Jane Watson be together. I don't know why there's such a push against that at Marvel. It confuses me anyway. That's my soapbox for today. Nearly 30 years later, Marvel Comics will give the animated Spider-Man his long-awaited happy ending in Spider-Man 94, a new comic book series set in the world of the beloved 90s show. Here's my guess. My guess is one of the reasons that they're doing this in a comic book versus a show is, one, this will probably sell, if I had to guess. And this will probably sell very well. Just my guess. Like I said, I think Marvel understands that they really need to do something to bolster their comic books. And in my humble opinion, this is how you do it. Something like this. It may flop. Who knows? It may flop. It may be a disaster. But my guess is they're actually putting some real thought into this, and it's probably going to work out really well. Former Amazing Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man comic scribe J.M. DeMatteis is writing the 5-issue limited series penciled by Jim Toh, X-Force, Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse versus Venomverse. The 1990 Spider-Man animated series has become a beloved part of Spidey lore. It was the introduction to Peter Parker and his universe for an entire generation, and I'm delighted to be giving back that universe, DeMatteis told IGN. We're treating this as the next season of the show, which means introducing new villains, new challenges, new adventures for Peter, while doing our best to remain true to the creative spirit that John Semper and company established with the original show. And that's good, right? It seems like they're trying to keep as close to the original show as possible, which is what you want in something like this, because clearly this is something that fans loved, and you don't want to veer too far off from that. It never made sense to me when companies know exactly what fans want to see and they just push against it so much. It really confuses me. According to Marvel, Spider-Man the Animated Series Cliffhanger is officially resolved as the Spider-Man 94 comic book series continues with storytelling set after the dramatic final episodes. The comic will also introduce the animated universe versions of characters that never appeared in the animated series that aired 65 episodes over 5 seasons between 1994 and 1998. That was such that you gotta realize this was the I can't really call it my lower childhood. This was like the latter half, right? I was 19 in 1998. 19, yeah, I was 19, turning 19 in 1998. So for me, these shows were really part of that, young adulthood, right? I was still collecting comic books, still watching a lot of these series. I had just went into the military in 1998. So yeah, this was a real big part of that childhood. And I love these shows. I love the comic books and the characters. So it's good to see. This is a little bit of nostalgia. You can't cure everything with nostalgia, and you can't constantly sell nostalgia. You got to move on. But I think this is a good play, obviously, if done right, right? Like that goes without saying. If it's done wrong, obviously people are not going to like it, including the vampiric spider-feeding Morlun and the disfigured Peter Parker clone Kaine. Artist Nick Bradshaw, The Thing, cover above, features the first look at the animated version of Morlun alongside the Rogues Gallery, who appeared throughout the series from left to right: Morbius, Kingpin, Kraven the Hunter, Venom, Hobgoblin, Shocker, the Lizard, Black Cat, Dr. Octopus, Rhino, and the Green Goblin. And that's all in here. It's funny how you almost completely forget about some of these things until an article like this reminds you, oh yeah, this was actually pretty great. And I hope they do this well. I really do. And I like the fact that they're doing it in a comic book. Like I said, there's a lot more you can do. Here's the official synopsis. After searching to the end of the multiverse, Peter Parker, the amazing, the spectacular, the radioactive webhead himself, aka Spider-Man, swings back into the streets of New York City with his beloved Mary Jane Watson in tow. But what's this? One of these villains is not like the others. Witness this universe debut of the not one but two of Spider-Man's greatest villains from the comics, Morlun and Kaine. Break out your action figures and post up in front of the TV as we bring you back to the greatest era of animated superhero television in history. You're never going to expect the twists and turns ahead for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And by the way, since it's mentioning your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, I have to say, with all its flaws and all its warranted criticism, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon, to me, is a good cartoon. Really good at that. I thoroughly enjoyed every episode. There wasn't one episode where I thought to myself, I could have done without that altogether. They did it well, even with the changes they made. If you're going to make changes, you better do it right. And I think even with the changes they made, the show was done right. I was entertained from the first episode to the last. Personally, just wanted to throw that out there. Peter and Mary Jane were seen together. Peter and Mary Jane were seen together during a cameo in Tolerance is Extinction Part 3, the first season finale, X-Men 97. The Marvel animation series revived 1992's X-Men, the animated series, which aired concurrently with Spider-Man and crossed over with the series in such episodes as The Mutant Agenda, Mutants Revenge, and Secret Wars. After last year's X-Men 97 finale, Barnes addressed a potential Spider-Man 98 sequel series, picking up where the original animated series left off. Barnes said he would love to participate in such an awesome venture, but noted that no one from Marvel reached out about continuing the series and that he has no connections to the X-Men 97 show. This is a mind-blowing travesty. There are times where I think to myself, if I could have one day, just one day of absolute power at Disney Marvel, I really believe I can fix all of their woes. As long as whatever I decide stays in place, even when I leave, all I need is one day. Just one day is literally all I need. Earlier this year, Marvel Studios launched the new Disney Plus animated series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, set in a separate continuity inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spider-Man 94 #1 of 5 swings onto stands September 3rd from Marvel Comics, and I believe I will be picking this up. This is definitely something I am interested in. Marvel, there's so many things you could do to bring great things to the fans, and it looks like there are some concessions being made, and Marvel is understanding a little bit better what the fans want. It's not fully there yet, but I'm not going to say I'm holding my breath, but I'm going to say that not all is lost, in my humble opinion.